Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other like-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone had a great New Year's, and wrap up to the Christmas season, and you're off to a terrific start of 2026. The Nightlight viewers enjoy the cryptid and true crime mystery shows Barbara and I do from time to time. Tonight's guest will be combining both topics. That should be interesting. We have a panel of top-tier experts in the field. We have BRYAN BOWDEN, who is the host of Third Eye Live, which airs on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and he will be a presenter at the Vanished conference, and we'll be discussing that maybe a little bit in the second part of the show. NATALIE SMEARMAN is a co-host of the Blondes and Booze podcast, and she does a bunch of other projects with Relic Films Media, and she's also in The Vanished. And GREG OGLES is the director of Relic Films, and you can learn more about his documentaries at relicfilmsmedia.com. And their film is titled The Vanished, and it will be premiering at the end of the month in Gardendale, Alabama. Adam Davis has also been involved with the making of the film, and we'll get into more of everyone else who was a contributor. But we got the panel here. How is everyone doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Oh, fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, McLovin.
Yeah, that's a long story, but yes. You call me McLovin or Bigfoot down in the state of Florida. So
all right.
I answered to it, but I wouldn't be here without Greg and NATALIE. Actually, I mean, with Greg is an amazing documentary filmmaker. Really good products, and I've been watching a bunch of them prior to actually interacting meeting with Greg, and I love your progress, and they're just getting better and better and better and better, and I'm excited to be seeing the premiere on the January 31st.
Thank you, sir, Brian. That is high praise coming from you.
I appreciate it.
In all seriousness, in my first documentary, I had zero idea what I was doing. It was learning on the fly. And I was smart, at least smart enough to surround myself with other people who did. So we got them launched out off the ground. It took us several years in the making of the Downy Booger, but the Land Between the Lakes, it came a little bit quicker, and the Vanished was much faster. And as they, like you said, they keep getting better.
Yeah, and then you include the lady that's right next to you in there, and then they're just perfect. So,
Well,
and
thank
that
you.
English guy, that comes.
I had a little flavor, a little style.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know what?
Little paprika.
Yeah, a little
on
paprika
there.
to go with the vinegar that it's always malted vinegar out of the UK.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Vinegar and beans.
Mm. Beans and
but I mean, like, it's just if I go to the Relic Films on your website, as well as is it a different one? There's Relic Films Media, I believe. Two entities
Yeah,
part of it.
there's another Poser Relic Films out there. They started after we did. But we're right now going with the Relic Films Media. That is to keep some of the confusion down. So go to relicfilmsmedia.com, and you can actually view both of our films there. The Downy Booger you can find on Tubi, Roku channel, and a whole host of other streaming platforms. And the Land Between the Lakes, soon you'll be able to see on the same streaming platforms.
yeah.
And they're just incredible. You're doing a great job capturing everything. I'm just honored to be, involved with the Paracon and the premiere. I'm doing something totally different, but I'm kind of bringing in something that leads into the Vanish, kind of hype up, a little bit more. So I'm on the UFO end this time around, not the cryptid end. And I'm not going to give away much, but it's going to be very interesting. And
That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, viewer discretion advised, because there's some things in there that it's not super family friendly on that end, because it deals with an adult type of content. I'm not here to scare anybody, but wow, what a great segue into the Vanished, and it kind of adds on to that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this more than you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. We're looking forward to having you.
I appreciate that. I'm glad to be part of it, and it's always fun when Greg's around, and Natalie, and a Bluetooth speaker.
And Greg, where is the premiere happening? You might as well plug the venue.
Yeah, it's in Gardendale, Alabama, and it's going to be at the Gardendale Civic Center in Gardendale, Alabama. It's a fabulous venue. It's
right behind
It's beautiful place. And right right there. It's a beautiful place. It's a extremely nice venue. It's very clean, very safe. Lots of restaurants, and there's several hotels around if you wanted to stay in a hotel. But it's a fabulous area. But it's at the Gardendale Civic Center.
And the Paracon and the premiere are all going to be indoors. So if the weather's bad outside, come on in. It'll be nice and warm, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, it's January 31st. You got nothing else to do. Come on in.
January 31st. It's on a Saturday.
Yeah,
we're going to have tons of fun. We're going to have contests. We're going to have a tattoo artist there. Lots of speakers, venues, stuff to sell, stuff to buy.
I'm trying to get Mark there to get a tattoo, but who knows? Wow. I'm going to actually post the link to the tickets on Eventbrite, and they're priced amazing.
Yes.
And I believe if anybody wants to be a vendor, it's even a great spot for it. Everything. Don't let this distract you from selling generators or local home stuff as well. You know, everybody needs these things. You know, you don't want your power to vanish, so get a generator. Let's throw that in there and get more vendors there.
Don't let your power vanish.
Let your power vanish.
Okay, so Greg, so since the title of the movie is The Vanished, we're looking at people who disappeared. So maybe just kind of give people the viewers just a general idea of what the movie is. Just give them a little teaser about what the movie is about, to get people there. What we discussed last night was really captivating.
Yeah, every year people go vanishing in our national forests, and we took a look at it at two cases in particular, and one was the Dennis Martin case from 1969, who was a a little boy who just mysteriously vanished without a trace, and the other is Mike Heron, who vanished in, I think, 2008. And, he was a much older individual in his 50s. But again, just like Dennis Martin, he vanished without a trace. So what we did is we circled in on these two particular cases, and we just delved straight into the multiple possibilities that could that could have become these two individuals in these cases. And we took a look at every angle. And when I mean every angle, we look at every angle. So, it really is an amazing tale. And we've got some brand new, I say brand new, we've got some material that nobody else has heard before. And I've been feverishly working that into the film because it became known to us not too long ago. So I've been feverishly adding that into the film, and it's all complete now, and it has woven together beautifully. So we just delved into these two particular cases, and not to take anything else away from any of the other cases. It's just that we had to zero in on something. And we just picked these two particular cases because they were so similar in the fact that they just vanished without a trace, with no clues.
And I thought it was very interesting because, and kudos to Greg, because he allowed us to really dive in and investigate and to go as far as we could with the investigation, online documents, and then going out into the forest and really going deep into the forest and just really honing in on these very areas of high strangeness. So it was a remarkable journey, and what I learned, I mean, it was life changing. So Greg, thank you. That's kudos to him.
Well, you did a wonderful job, Natalie, and I will say that Natalie did a fantastic job in her research and her presentation of the evidence, and going out into the woods without running away. So that in itself is a feat.
Well, I could have though.
Yeah, well,
but I didn't.
I don't know. We had you kind of tied down, so you couldn't.
And there, there was a tree down too, so there was that. So I was blocked
in. And I will say that we captured some evidence that is extraordinary. I mean, it's extraordinary, and you will be surprised at what we link it to. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Greg, you just mentioned that Dennis and Mike's cases were similar. Was there any, Natalie, when you're doing your investigations, was there you know, any type of like clothing left behind? You know, is there anything documented about
Yeah,
blood
that was
stains? Like,
yeah.
can you kind of recreate what we know from the crime scene?
Yeah, so both cases, to Greg's point, were just very, very odd, as many others are. But again, we honed in on these two cases because these are two individuals that were not new to the forest. These individuals vacationed in the forest, lived in the forest, hunted, camped, went on long hikes. I mean, these two individuals were in the forest from the time of being a small child. So the disappearances were literally, there was nothing left. They were gone. There was no trace, no evidence, no nothing. And, you would think that a man in his 50s who grew up and lived in the forest wouldn't just disappear like this. Gone, nothing left. And then there's a little boy with his family within a few feet of him that just literally disappeared. No sound, no nothing. So these were the things that were really, really interesting, and made and drew us to these cases, because how strange it was that there was no evidence, there were no witnesses, even though there were people around, or there were neighbors, or they just went on a little ride and then nothing. And so when we dove in and did a deeper investigation and really looked at interviews and looked at documents, and even the government documents that were documented and kept away in an archive and then resurfaced, it was still very, very bizarre. And then getting into the forest and doing investigations, we realized how there's such strange and unusual and unexplained activity that occurred every single day when we were in the forest. Every single day and every single night, we had some sort of activity. And that really surprised me, because I even turned to Greg and to Adam. I'm like, is this normal? And they're like, no, this is not normal for this to be happening every single day. So
I blame Natalie. I'm sorry. I'm going to blame you for being there. Not a show for Natalie at this point. But
it was me.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is I think we all may know about David Paulides and his missing 411, which is kind of falls on it. He's not the only one that has done that, as we can see. And it is strange when something that is literally right in front of you just disappears. As a researcher and investigator, primarily of paranormal for a long, long time, up in the New York area, we have a mountain, and they have a fire tower at the top of it. And during COVID, we took, the kids up there, get them out of the house, because they were just killing us, and we ran out of duct tape to put them on the wall, But something was strange there. I've had there's a lot of ruins in there and rock formations. There's quartz. I've had Bigfoot encounters, I have UFO encounters, and some other things there. And when we're walking up this hill, your spidey senses kick in, and I'm sure you can talk about, both of you can talk about it when you're on the set, which is a real life set. And I literally, when we were coming down, I felt something walk. When somebody walks past you really fast, you get a breeze, and no one did. And my youngest was going off to the side. That is the area where, the same day, I asked my youngest to pose, and you know how kids are. They're like, she's doing or whatever. And we caught the fairy on her finger. So yeah, it's a great, if I can find it right now, I'll share it with you guys, but this is the weird things that go on, and it's a fairy. But But I said, no, stay in front of me. And I literally put my hand on her because of situations like this. So maybe you guys can talk about the high strangeness in the area, which may contribute to that.
Go ahead, Greg. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Well, some of the high strangeness in that particular area that we saw, we encountered some paranormal activity. We went to a church and we got some paranormal activity inside the church. And later on, we went out into the field where we went out to a place where the late Mr. Carpenter used to research. And it's at a particular place where he had seen a portal. And sure enough, right where that portal was, we had lots of activity. And by activity, I mean, it was these lights that you see out in the woods, these orbs. And, for the most part, they were just, they were quick, you would see them and then they're gone. However, they did seem to respond to stimuli. They interacted with us. Whenever we laughed, it seems like they would get brighter and come a little closer, so it did seem like that laughter affected them. I mean, whether one way or the other, but it did affect them, and they became more active with the active, and that corresponded to another event that we had in the land between the lakes. Very, very similar. We were sitting there talking, cutting up, and we saw these orbs, and they came toward us. They came near us. And it seems like, they were interested in our laughter or our conversation. And that seemed like they wanted to come in and check us out, So we kind of delved into like, hey, what is it we're seeing here? And there's got to be some sort of legends or some sort of ancient knowledge about what these things were. Surely we're not the only ones seeing these, and sure enough, we're not. And I'm not going to give this away here, but you will be surprised at what we link this to. And there's a direct correlation to an old legend, Cherokee legend, and actually one in Alaska as well, about these particular events that we caught on camera. We caught these on camera now in the Vanished. So you'll be surprised at what this is linked to.
Yeah, it's you're doing a premiere, and it's really trying. It's very hard to tell you something without telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because it's a premiere. You don't want to get, it's just come down to the Civic Center on the 31st and you will see this and your jaw will drop. And I mean, like, I'm excited to I'm presenting, but I'm also going to be sitting there like, with the whole crew going, oh my God, and then, the discussions later. So.
Yeah.
Brian, our buddy, Ron, in his fairy book, talks about the orbs that were, I think there were 5 that appeared in front of him. Stan Gordon has been a guest with us. He's covered. He's been investigating them. Over the last few years. So
it's
and they're like almost like sentient, like Greg said. They're responding to human
interactions.
100%. Emotions or something.
I shared the two of the images. One's the first one when I had to black out her face, so because I never heard the end of it from her mother. And the second one is a close-up of the actual as a paranormal investigator, I don't just take a photo. I'm literally taking 7 photos, and you learn to do that. It really pisses people off. Hey, can you take a picture of us? And it's like, why do you take 10 of them? I'm like, sorry, force of habit, because you want to see movement or something strange there. But when I'm looking at this in my lens of my Nikon going, what the heck is this? I had to download it, and I'm like, no way. You will see, if you just want to go in the zoom in one, you will see on her finger, that's the longer one, this fairy. And these are part of these stories that Greg is now taken, and Natalie and Adam, and Greg has a whole great crew of people that go with him out there. I mean, a long list of people that are into the high strangeness and curiosity to do these. You're putting your life almost on the line when you do some of these paranormal investigations. Everybody thinks you're crazy.
Really
but yeah. So,
yeah, you really are. I've had 2 encounters at the exact same place where things could have went sideways real easy, real fast, and that one of them is going to be coming out in the film after this. It's the Return to the LBL. But oh my God, it's that encounter is crazy, absolutely crazy, and it equals the encounter that we had at the exact same place the year before. So it's you are taking your life into other people's hands, and you have to trust them. You really do. You have to trust these people. You have to trust the people that are around you. And I sort of take it on myself to and some of the experience I've had. I've got lots of experience in this, and this year at the LBL was the first time that I was so surprised that I had to brandish a weapon. That was the first time, and it wasn't so much that I was, it wasn't scary. It was I was surprised. I turned around and looked, and this thing's kind of charging at us, and I'm like, oh God, what is that? And but the look of this thing was just so weird. It was that's a podcast for another day.
Yeah.
But you're right, Bryan. You're some of these situations where you go out into the woods, can be hazardous to your health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't realize it. We have as an investigator, we always have a plan A, but we also have plan Bs, and plan Bs work out sometimes a lot better than the plan As. But in all these cases, I've stated to a bunch of people I've investigated with up in the north as well as now in the south, I'm like, wow, that was really stupid. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm not sugarcoating it. But in order to get answers to these things, sometimes it's not that you're losing your mind or whatever. You plan things out, and luckily where we are, I mean, I carry, not necessarily for a Bigfoot encounter whatsoever, but there are other predators there that I got to protect myself with.
Right.
And a couple of people are with us that also carry. Natalie loves bear spray.
I do.
Yes, she does.
I carry it too, by the way.
I love me some bear spray.
Yes.
That is
She uses it as perfume.
Yes. I do every morning.
Wait to her heart.
Keeps people away. But yeah, I carry that on my side, and that really, I mean, that saved me even just going out, on a little investigation with a couple of friends that we went out and ended up in the middle of a territory where there was Florida panthers, and one of them charged us.
Wow.
And so, it's really, I don't like to hurt animals. They were going into their home, into their territory. Even with cryptids and paranormal, we are walking into their territory. So I don't really want to hurt them in any way. So if bear spray can push them back or stop them, then I'm going to use that first before I hurt anything. If that's just me.
No, it's a great approach. One one of the things that I also bring out, it's kind of like bear spray. We have the pepper pellets as well. And if that doesn't work, then we have critical defense, and I think that's the trick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes I like to carry a picture of my ex-wife. I mean, that usually does.
Stop. Oh my God.
You stay away.
Stay away right now. The power of the ex-wife will compel you. That is great. You gotta do a parody somehow of The Exorcist, but with the ex-wife. Like, the power of the ex-wife compels you. But these are the adventures, and the best part about it is what I love about Greg and Natalie and Adam. I have yet to meet Adam, but I've had conversation with him elsewhere. Mr. Proper English, and if he can't be there, I can put on an English accent myself. Thank you, or thank you. But it's the camaraderie that is so important. Like Greg, you were saying, and you know what? Even in those moments when Greg has a great way to. There are people that are very gun shy about being on camera. They get nervous, and Greg has a great way to get them. We're not revealing those secrets, but he knows the ins and outs of how to capture general, real interactions. And some of the stuff I've seen, like, I can't wait for just the director's cut with, like, on the Blu-ray, gag one fireplace scene, this scene, because it makes you feel like you're really part of something, and you are when you watch his films. It's like, I want, you've inspired. I mean, my daughter, she's a little bit leery of certain things. She goes, I want to go out there and look for this. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. No, but you're inspiring people. I've had conversations about, I saw the LBL thing that you are giving out over in the conference that we were in Missouri, and fantastic film. And some people were discussing, like, I want to go out there. I got to go out there. I want to, and it's great. You should get out to the outdoors. Go in a pair or two.
Well, Brian, one of the things that I really, really do try to incorporate in my films is that this is not just a dude thing. Gals can get out and do this.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, gals can probably have more luck than we do. They might have more experience, not more experiences than us guys do. So it's, and I don't know about you, but my time machine only works one way. I'm getting older, and eventually, I'm going to be too old to do some of this one day. So, it's like coming to the Paracon. I want kids to come in free because I want to expose them not only just to, the cryptids and have them learn a little bit about how to keep safe when you're out in the forest, but just get out into the forest, get outside. Get away from these phones and stuff from all the time. Get out to nature. You need to get back in touch with Earth, because once my generation's gone, I hope this knowledge that we're learning now doesn't end. This is just the beginning of it. It's just the beginning.
And a lot of people in our generation. A lot of people in our generation are just, they're empty nesters right now. And their whole life has been work and kids and whatever softball game or whatever. And then once the kids go away to college, they're like, who am I? What do I do?
What do I do?
What do I do? And so I think what we're inspiring, intentionally or unintentionally, is, hey, get out in the forest. Go for a hike, go for a walk, go camping, see what you can find. And I have gotten calls and messages going, hey, you guys have really inspired me. My kids are gone. I didn't know what to do. It's just me alone. I'm a single parent. and I'm now going out here, or I'm going on a hike, or I'm inviting friends to go camping. And I think that's amazing, because now we're getting more people away from technology and back out into the forest, into nature, and really honing in and reconnecting, which is phenomenal. So if that's what, we're able to do, that's a huge win.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mark, but in the case of Greg being older in the time machine, we're all at a certain age. I have no doubt that we'll see all of us in those rascals, like they have at the market, and we're just nitrous out. And do you hear that? Because, with that kind of technology now, it is really prevalent in Bigfooting and going out for some of these things, because it's very silent and it gets you further distance into places that you couldn't normally walk in a day. So don't let yourself be limited, even if you're in one of those little bugaboos or whatever they call them. Go out, enjoy the you're not going to be able to climb over certain things, but I'm sure that'll be equipment later. But I can't wait that's going to be great for Relic Media. Those trail shots when you're driving along with it in the Rascal,
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. But in a lot of these, a lot of the encounters that we've had has been in camp. So there's a lot, you don't even, in some places, you don't even have to go out anywhere. You can stay in camp and you'll be like, oh, what was that?
Every night, every night in the LBL, we had activity in camp. Every night.
Natalie, how did you get involved in paranormal research and so much outdoor stuff? Is your family always involved in camping, or is this something developed later in life?
Yeah, it developed later in life. I mean, I always had paranormal activity around me since I was a child. So it's scary at first. And then it just progressed as the years went on. And then I realized and studied more that, these entities are just wanting to communicate. That's really what it is. And, they're not always demonic or evil. They're just trying to communicate and get their voice across. Well, a lot of times when you go into paranormal investigations and you go out and you keep going out, it does cross over to cryptids and to UFOs. So there's an overlap with all of this. And I started studying cryptid investigations many, many years ago, reading books, watching videos and podcasts and movies, and a lot of interviews as well. And then it wasn't until 2024 did I really go boots on the ground and investigate and, did a lot of my own research and experiments and realized there's a whole lot more out there. And so I met Adam in the spring of 2024. We stayed in touch, and he was seeing a lot of what I was doing out in the field. And in February of 25, he called me up and saying, hey, I'd love to introduce you to GREG OGLES and see if, we can film together. And then the rest is pretty much history. And it's just been blowing up ever since, because we've been going out investigating and doing conferences and podcasts and just really getting out there in front of folks, just providing education and information and material, which is fantastic.
Do you think that the vanished will help to bring closure to the families of the people who disappeared?
That's a great question. I think it will provide a lot of good details, a lot of good information, even information that they probably have never even thought about or experienced or even heard about. So I think that's going to bring light on a lot of what has happened, not with just these two disappearances in these families, but with many others. So you know, I hope it does bring them some peace and some understanding. I don't know. I hope it brings closure, but it's with a disappearance, even with a child, that's something that's a piece of your heart that's will always go missing.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to bring closure or not, but it may answer a few more questions, and it might even bring up a few more questions than answers. So, as far as closure goes, in my opinion, the only closure that would that I myself could get out of a situation like that would be definite answers.
Mhm.
And a definite answer, in my opinion, would be where is either the missing person? Where are they? Either alive or deceased. And the other, if they're deceased, what happened?
Yeah, that's a tough. It's very tough. Um, there's there's a lot of individuals that live that that grew up in areas and they know there are certain weird things that take place, and they they used to tell their children, and their children would tell their children, and grandparents would tell their children. People kind of stop from that, like, let's not scare them, when in fact you should be informed. I always get junk from my kid's mom, like, you're scaring them, and I'm like, I want them to know that there are things out there that are not normal, or
Yeah.
what you would consider normal.
Mhm.
And it's just upsetting because some of these parents may have known about certain events in the area, certain legends and whatever, and maybe like hogwash until they have the experience.
Mhm.
And you're right. I mean, as a parent, it would destroy me.
Mhm.
If, God forbid, something like this happened, and I can feel literally as a parent how these parents are feeling, and then it causes a whole bunch of turmoil on that end. But yeah, I would want to know for definitely what was going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So in essence, I think there's going to be some good for the families, but I think it's going to be more eye-opening for everyone else.
Mhm. Yeah. And Brian, to your point, I think talking about what is out there is key. I taught my kids, you know, from the get go, if you're out in the woods, don't go somewhere alone. Be mindful, you know, understand what you're hearing. And so sometimes they would go out in the woods and do an Ohio howl and see if they can get a response back. So that, you know.
Yeah, sometimes those aren't good things to do, but I mean, like, depending on where you are, like I've been to Appalachia and some of the the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you don't whistle out there. You don't whistle. And if you hear whistling, you go the other way. There's certain times when you leave those areas that are darker. Yes, we're paranormal investigators, but there's a safety factor involved in a lot of this stuff. And that's why, as Greg and Natalie have said, you go with numbers. Um, the worst thing in the world, like I can only imagine what my kids would do if they heard like a baby crying in the woods, which is a
Mhm.
mimic, and we don't know what that mimic is. And there have been even adults that have had situations where they were here, like, the help me. It sounds like a woman's calling for help, and you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's why they have this thing called 911 on your phone.
Mhm.
And you can say, "Hey, I'm here. You can track me. I'm hearing a woman saying, 'Help me.'" And if a local constable is in the area, they know. I mean, they grew up knowing some of these legends, and this is, they'll be like, "Yeah, we got it, no problem," and they're not going to go in the woods to look for it either. I've seen
Mhm.
some small town law enforcement. They're like, "No, I'm not going in there," and they
Mhm.
got big guns.
Yeah.
So if they're not going, or their dog gets us afraid, and I've seen that too on a couple of cases of my own, I'm like, "Yeah, this is a bad idea. Let's go." Leave
Mhm.
it be. But
And you know what is somewhat disturbing to me though is when authorities deliberately ignore or cover up the existence of some of these strange things. In the making of The Vanished, I had opportunity to talk to a forest ranger, and the forest ranger, in no uncertain terms, had said that yes, there are feral people in the Great Smoky Mountains, and he pointed to a place where they were. He said, if you go here, you have a really good chance of seeing a feral person or some of these feral people. So, but you know, they can't talk about that like on camera or publicly, because it's a no-no. And to me, that does a disservice to the community at whole.
Yeah. And I, you know, while we were there filming, I got to talk to a lady who ran the motel, and her family had moved there 2 generations ago. Her grandfather was helping build roads through the national forest, and they had brought a lot of people into the area. And so it was a big contract, and they were going to be working for a long time. Well, as they were moving through the forest and digging up the ground for the roads, they found unmarked graves. And
Ooh.
some of the times there were boxes, which they didn't even know what they were. They would open up the box and there would be a body in there. But when they looked at the cover of the box, there were scratch marks from the inside. And it wasn't just 1 or 2, there were a lot of them. So as they're digging up these unmarked graves where it was either somebody was buried alive or somebody was murdered, it was unearthing this negative energy. And she said that's when this time of high strangeness and a lot of paranormal activity was happening. And it's just incredible because you don't really think about that. And that's not advertised. That was passed down through generations, where she was kind enough to share that story with me. And so when you go into these areas and you get a lot of paranormal activity, you have to wonder why. So it's always good to talk to the locals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, Natalie. And, you know, that kind of mirrors the situation at the LBL and the situation that happened there.
Yeah.
And also mirrors the situation at a place in Georgia where I filmed the Downy Booger, that, you know, something very much like that happened there. There was a huge massacre. So, I think that you know, unearthing or disturbing some of these graves and just the negative energy that's attached to some of these places, it just really contribute to the paranormal activity that you'll have.
Yeah.
Greg, do you find that, you know, what you just said about, you know, what happened somewhere? Okay, let's say it's outside. Can some of those lingering, I don't know what the right term is, like the lingering haunting outside, be different from, you know, inside, you know, the Overlook Hotel, or, you know, something like that? Do you find there to be a difference outdoors and inside?
Short answer, no. I think a lot. I think they can be the same in certain respects. Now, I didn't believe in ghosts until I saw one. So, boom, there they go. I know that there's ghosts. I saw an Indian on a horse just materialize in front of us. We was out orb watching, and here comes this Indian on a horse. Poof, materialized in front of us, traveled across the field and got to the tree line and disappeared. Well, I wasn't the only one to see it. The other lady that was with me, Janice, she saw it, and you know, and then we went and made our other friend Brent, we made him the guinea pig and go out and test the opacity of the ghost to make sure it was solid, what we saw. And sure enough, anyway, so we've had all kinds of paranormal activity on the outside happen, such as disembodied voices. You know, I've got disembodied voices on camera, you know, where everybody's voice or mouth was accounted for, and then you hear this kind of sound, you know, and it wasn't the only time we heard it that night. I've heard in my voice something say, "Hey, Janice," in my voice. And Janice also heard that. She's a lady. It was she used to be in our group, and you know, there's been weird there's touchings. So now I can't say all that is ghosts, because I don't know what ghosts are, right? Is it a parallel dimension that, you know, kind of comes into ours? I don't know what a ghost is, right? But I will say that whatever happens on like inside homes and stuff can certainly happen outside. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it certainly happened. Yeah.
You know, Greg, that you know, the example you just gave of Janice sounds, you know, like what Brian said a few minutes ago about the mimic voice. Yeah, that's really creepy. You know, and you know, you also
It
get
is.
at the end of like Stepford Wives, in which, you know, it's just creepy enough. But yeah, it's, you know, hearing, you know, "Mommy, help me," in the middle of the woods. Yeah, that sounds like something right out of the, you know, Grimm Brothers. Yeah, kind of fairy tale stuff.
Yeah.
That's like, ooh, man,
Yeah.
that's
It's
really,
one thing reading about it or reading in a fairy tale, and the other thing experiencing it.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a lot of
100%
the times, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were doing an investigation and during the vanished, and we're all kind of spread out. It's very dark, and we're just there to experience it. And I look and I heard Greg right behind me talk. He said something right here, and I was like, "What are you saying?" And he's at least 10 feet away from me. And I'm going, and I'm looking around, and there's nobody behind me.
Yeah.
And then another time we were in another area, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey," and I look and there's nobody there. Nobody. And I was like, "Hello?" And I heard something like a whimper, and then that was it. So yeah, you get these disembodied voices, and whether it is a residual, whether it's a spirit, whether it's something from another dimension, I don't know. But I always try to answer so they know that they're heard.
And something's very important that most people don't realize. When you have a haunted house or something like that, it's not necessarily the home that's the problem. It's usually the land. There have been many people kicked off the land, from the indigenous to people that may have been working in a slave capacity, and people just being displaced, and they don't like it. And for some reason they're just there, and that begets other things that are maybe negative as well. So you don't know what you're necessarily dealing with, but that's why again, I will say, when you go out, I see a lot of people in Florida going out without anybody else with them. And hey, I'm not your mom or dad, but if you're going into certain situations, it behooves you to let somebody know you're going to be there, or go with somebody. You know, it's more fun with two people or three or four anyhow. But especially if there's any legends or lore in the area, like LBL, which I ended up, yeah, I've ended up, you know, I haven't gone in yet, and I'm hoping to go up there shortly, soon, but I just pulled off to see where I was on my way to Missouri. 11 o'clock at night, I got out of the car just to stretch, and there's the sign, "Welcome," be like, LBL, and I'm like, I'm in the car, and I took off, and I investigate this stuff, and I'm like, nah, not a good idea. This is how all those Scooby-Doo shows start, you know.
Yep.
Yep.
What seems to be what is attracting, the entities at the land between the lakes? Is it the amount of water? Uh,
Short blonde
it-
women.
yeah,
Yes, I agree. It's short blonde women going out there,
Mm-hmm.
making sounds. Woo. And they're like, "Hey, girl." That's what happens.
I will tell you that and I don't mean that negatively, or it's a little bit comical, but women seem to attract more of this activity than men.
That's true.
Yeah,
And that's what
you're
those
right.
folks say.
And again, that's one of the reasons why I like to have women in some of my films, is because they have a tendency to attract more activity. Now, when you speak about the LBL, I think the LBL is a special place because it's a convergence of several ley lines. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
there's lots of water in it's running water. It's technically lakes, but they're dammed up rivers, so there's always a current, so it's running water. And three, there's lots of quartz in that area. So and on top of that, you had all this stuff that happened during the formation of the lakes, of the dams. So when the government came in and took all the land away from the people that lived there. So, there is kind of a special place because it's a convergence of all of those things, which each one of those individually could bring up the propensity for paranormal activity to happen in a certain place. Like for instance, one of the things that we noticed early on was that when we saw lots of orbs, was that lots of quartz in the ground. So lots of quartz to us was a signifier that was going to get some sort of orb activity.
You also have to understand that when a lot of times they're building these areas, or they're doing things like damming stuff up to make whatever they want, a lot of times it's like the Poltergeist movie. They don't remove the bodies. Not just from cemeteries, but at one point in time, you were allowed to bury, your family would bury on their property. So when they're going through, like Natty was saying, that you see some of these boxes they're digging up, because it's you didn't record when Grandpa Fred passed away. You just buried Grandpa Fred. And everybody surrounded, you did what you did, and there was family cemeteries. But a lot of these towns or whatever they use, and they flood them to make, the lakes, they still have their own stories to tell, and individuals get angry at that. So that's one of the things. But one of the things I love about having women on my team, they smell good, they look good, but they also use both sides of their brain. They hemisync more often than anybody else, and they're more intuitive. So they pick up on stuff really, really quick, versus people that aren't really thinking in that capacity. And it's a great perspective to have.
And Brian, you touched on one of my secrets when before I go out and investigate, almost all the time before I go out, I'll secretly go somewhere and meditate for a while. And that I intentionally try to hemisync.
Yep.
That is exactly what I try to go do. And that once you hemisync, your brain becomes a larger tool, and you put you more in sync with your surroundings, and it makes you capable of perceiving more. So that's one of my secrets that I do before I go out.
I think that is one of the most fantastic things in the world. One of the problems I had, because I'm friends with Russ Accord, and I know, when he was doing another show, Finding Bigfoot, Ronnie LeBlanc was on there. He's like, we're the first group to use remote viewing, and I'm like, get to the back of the bus, pal. I've been doing it for 20 years. I do the same thing. I remote view prior to going, just to kind of get a feel for it. And I don't know if I'm going to ask this because it's not my show, but it's Mark's show. Before you going out to doing a filming or a research investigation, which will be filmed, what was your dream state like? Did you actually connect to something or had a premonition through dreams that something was going to take place? Because I've experienced that myself. I want to know if it's something that's characteristic that other individuals that investigate.
Well, it took a while to develop this, but after going out, after I started meditating, when you open yourself up to, I guess, your higher self, the source, whatever it is people want to call it, you start to obtain knowledge, right? And it's almost like a download. It's not like somebody talking to you or anything. You just know. Okay. Afterwards, after you meditate, you just know. It's almost like instinct. So that happens with me. And I'll say this, like during the making of the Downy Booger, we were going to finish up in Alabama. That was the original plan. However, I did some meditating on it. Instinctively, I knew, no, we've got to go back to this other place and we've got to film an orb. So we went and did that because, we saw orbs all the time there. And so we're sitting there filming an orb, and then we lo and behold, we capture the crawler that is crawling in between us and the orb, right? So it's very difficult to describe. It's almost like you just know something afterwards. It's not like a voice or anything like that you hear in your head, or at least not for me. It's just something that and I inherently know or instinctually know that I didn't know before. So I don't know I don't know if that answered your question or not.
No, it does answer the question. I always recommend, I when everybody's like, oh, you need to meditate, and that, guided meditation, not for me. It's just something I don't need. I learned how to meditate, and I use binaural beats, and I've recommended it. But first of all, it'll get rid of your stress from your kids, your ex-wife, your what's bothering you from your job and whatever. It's really good to do.
I'll mail you a picture of mine.
Yeah. I'm gonna put her on a t-shirt. What kind of cryptid is that? You don't want to go near it.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's my ex-husband.
Right. Yeah. Same thing. It's like, right now, whoever is with her is like, look how great she is. And you're like, you have no idea, brother. So, but this is what it's like with exes. And this is how Barbara was discussing prior to her cryptid experience. But I really do think it's a good thing to do. And you will be surprised what happens when you start to meditate.
Yes, you will.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you guys have your own interviews going on right now, and you're doing interviews with people in a new podcast / interview show. I know Natalie's been with Paul, Paranormal Among Us, and now in Blondes and Booze, which just got better and better and better. But one of the things that I recommend, if you can get it, is the Gateway experience. If you can't meditate, just try that for a little bit. You'll be fine. That is a totally different experience, and that will really catapult you into wanting to meditate more, because it does hemisync your brain.
It will. Yes, it will. Yep. Dr. Monroe he stumbled across something that was phenomenal, to say the least.
Oh, yes. And there's some things in what you've filmed, not to give things away, but there are vehicles that can be used, and I can't wait for them to, it all to come out at the premiere and things to come out at the premiere, because people are going to be like, I want to do that. I'm going to watch, where can I buy this movie? I want to watch it again and again and again. I know it. Got a really good vibe about the whole event. That's why, and I've been promoting the best I can.
Well, thank you very much. You've been doing a great job. Now, about this film, it's not your normal tone for a documentary at all. It's very dark. It's very dark. It's very spooky for a documentary. So it's not something that I would really recommend to kids that real young kids. It's more geared toward at least teenagers and above, but it's very different. Very different. It starts off different. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Okay. And it's you were, when we spoke last night, you were pretty much wrapping up a couple things. Is it officially done now?
Filming is officially done. Yes. I've just got to place a couple of things in order, which is which is an easy part, and then I got to start credits. And that all that is a bunch of typing. That's all credits is. So it's done. It's done.
Yeah, I know. I was contacting Greg and NATALIE the other day, and he's editing, and I'm like, been there, done that. Good luck. I wish I could help. I mean, like, that's why I try to introduce Greg into a different venue and individual, and hope that's working out for you, Evan B. Stone. But I don't think, and maybe Greg and NATALIE, you could do it too as well. When you're doing something like this creative wise, I don't think you're ever, you get a point where like, yeah, I like this, but you always want to make it like, change a little bit here and there. I don't think you're ever satisfied, even with a great product. Even some of the masterpieces out there. Yeah. And that's why they're the director's cut. So
yep, you are 100% right. Because almost every time where I go in and just kind of rewatch everything, I'm looking for little things. I'm trying to double, triple check all the spelling and everything, and then I'll come across something that I don't quite like. I'm going to go back and change it, and then my son's like, "So, Dad, leave it alone."
Yeah.
Every time I talk to him, so what are you doing? Editing,
right?
Editing. Adding music, doing this, doing that, and it's always something surrounding the documentary or Beyond the Ordinary or something. He's editing because he just wants to pull this.
Yeah, even the promo that Adam uploaded us today, I was like, wait, stop! I hear cars in the background. No.
I gotta clean it up. Hold on. I gotta do this. Don't do this. And it's like, I was laughing.
Don't do anything there.
Don't.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I had to go and cutesy it up.
Yeah, it was a good. That's a good promo too. I mean, it's really great seeing him, doing the promo. There's a lot of people doing promos, and this is how much this event is going to really skyrocket and kick off 2026, and with the other movies coming out that Greg has done with NATALIE and Adam and a few others that you'll remember. You watch some of the films, you'll see people like, oh, I know her. I'm just excited because it's going to be a little bit of a winter thing, and then it's going to be like, okay, when are we getting back out there, type of thing. So
yeah, at least we're into January, so we still have a lot of winter left, but
yeah,
might be able to. Spring's not super far away. We get through a long January, then February is a short month, so.
But as I said to
Natalie.
Mark, I'm actually I just went to my computer is blinking at a certain point, and I'm getting flickering. So if I drop out, it's not that I don't want to be here. Please forgive me, but this is technically what's going on, and I wanted to tell Mark in the back end, like, you know, have an issue. But I didn't want to just drop out and like, did we do something wrong or say something wrong? I'm just letting you know there is an issue. So we're just trying to fix it as I'm sitting here.
It's a Taco
Okay,
Bell issue.
No, not Taco Bell. Thank you very much, but no, I'm good. My bowels are a-okay. That'll be the next movie, The Secret of Taco Bell.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
4 nights of horror.
yes. do you
Starring
Nick
Adam
Lovin.
Davies as the
Nick
the
Lovin
victim.
and Taco Bell.
Greg, did you want to stop there so we don't give the rest of the movie away? I think everyone contributed some tidbits to get butts in the seats, but we don't want to give away the movie. Is there do you want to plug the date of the premiere, the venue again? Do you want to call it a show then, or do you want to go into anything else?
I mean, we can. I mean, I've got nothing
I
else
don't know
to
if
do.
you had more editing out the cars
Not today.
driving by.
So, well,
gonna
I
edit
do
me
want
out.
some editing to make Natalie taller.
Yep. Pretty much.
I'm not going there.
That's
I'm not
AI
going
stuff.
You're so funny. This is
Hey,
the fun that we
He's
have.
gonna kill
filming.
him in a couple of weeks. He's just gonna
Yeah.
kill him.
So,
Greg wanted to be here, but he's in the emergency room right now.
Called Natalie Short
yes,
again.
my knees are broken up.
Yes.
My knees and kids are shattered.
I did post a tiny URL, just so you know, Mark, in the private chat if you want to copy, because I can't post the link. They won't let me in the chat, but you can actually post it, or whoever is can post in the chat from the admin side. And this way, people that are watching can actually go grab tickets for at Eventbrite for this event. I mean, it is, you can't even buy Starbucks for what I mean, it's like, this is a perfect event for the family.
Yeah, it really
It
is.
is.
Go visit Alabama. Go
Yeah.
watch a premiere. Visit all the vendors that are going to be there.
Come hang out with us. We'll have fun. We're going to have a ton of fun. Great speakers, all kinds of entertainment. And just me and Greg alone ragging on each other. That's entertainment enough. And then we're going to have podcasters there. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to have psychic mediums. There's going to be a comedian who's emceeing the whole event. And then, of course, The Vanished. So January 31st. And doors open at 9 a.m. So get your tickets.
Yep. And not to forget, we have a Bigfoot calling contest. We have a tattoo contest. And
a costume contest.
Yes.
That's right. So come dressed as your favorite character.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. Cryptids. You know.
Or you can come dressed as Natalie.
Come dressed as me. Yes. I know Brian already has his costume. He called me up. He's like, "Can I borrow one of your outfits?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yes. I mean, I really don't have the hips for it, but my daughters are like, "You're wear those shoes with that outfit."
That's be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come get your picture taken with some of the crew, the cast and crew. We're going to have like a big old billboard and a big billboard, a big sign, which you can take your picture in front of everybody. And there's going to be some good food, always good food, and good vendors, good speakers.
photographs, autographs.
Yeah.
Autographs.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Podcast.
mhm,
Yeah, just you know, it's going to be an event. That is for sure.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to stop the uh promotion, without giving too much away, but
Mhm.
you made it very clear about when and where it's taking place, how to get the uh, tickets, and uh, you know, I think maybe we should stop there,
Yes.
Awesome.
and
That'd be great.
let everyone get back to just doing the fine tuning. But
Mhm.
I really appreciate everyone just presenting what they did to make this happen, and sounds like a great event.
Awesome. Well, thank
It's
you
going to be
so much
fun.
for having us.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you very
eh,
much.
Well,
Thank you
thanks
very much
for
for having us.
being here. And we've Greg and I spoke last night about we have some other ideas we'd like to develop for some other shows, and of course you three are invited
Thank you
Oh,
to
thank you
do this
very much for
again.
inviting
so
me.
much.
Natalie will be on our show a little bit later on.
Okay.
This whole year, and this is really what I love about Greg is, again, we're going back into the female investigator research, and I think this is the year of the research investigator coming from the female side of the equation, and it's about time. And a lot of our guests, we have Marilyn Bass coming. I mean, we have and Barbara DeLong, and I mean, it's just a great way to start this year off. And they're really good at what they do.
Thank you.
They're not shy. Not one of them are
No.
shy.
Good
So-
Lord, no.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I just look forward to this, and I'm really looking forward to, the hotel's booked, everything's, it was as soon as you said come I'm like, boom, I booked my hotel, and then you
Yep.
got a better rate at the other one, and I'm like, yep, I'm there. Bring the popcorn and whatever. I got my BMR, bandana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Maybe
Yep.
like a fake mullet too.
If you want, I could actually have them just cut that about. We just need Mark Eddy to show up, but I'm gonna, I thank you very much for having me on. I'm gonna jump off because my computer seems to be it's gonna blow up.
Yeah,
All right, we
probably will too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we thank you, Brian, and Greg and Natalie. Thank you very much for being such informative guests. I think we have a lot more to talk about. So later this year. I was really I really enjoyed tonight's show, and I'm sure the viewers also had a great time watching it. So, we might as well just. I think we cover did our business, and we just stop it here. And Barbara has good great stuff lined up. Uh, I have some really good guests lined up for this month too. But this was a terrific show to kick off the new year. So thanks again, and hang out after the show for just a second, and we'll see everyone sometime soon.